Venice. Take a look at the gondolas here. Pretty cool. We actually went out on one of these gondola rides the other day. This place is packed like day and night. So one of the things I want to talk to you about today is why I quit the one and only job that I've ever had. After working there for like 9 years, almost 10 years I gave him. And it wasn't because I didn't like the job. I actually really liked the job. I loved the job. And I liked the people that I interacted with. I worked as a manager at Walgreens Pharmacy and did that at multiple stores for many, many, many years. It was actually a pretty good job. I had a lot of freedom there. The later years, I had a lot of freedom. Was able to work when I wanted to, come and go. But even with that, and I made pretty decent money. Didn't make a lot of money, but pretty decent money. But even with that, I still felt unfulfilled. I felt like there was still more there for me, right? So how many people feel like that? And it took me, I felt that way from day one when I first started working there. And I started working there when I was younger, and I used to always tell my mother, man, I'm gonna quit this stupid job. And my mom would tell me to stay with it, stick with it, don't give up. So sometimes we get involved in things even when we don't feel like it's the right thing for us, and we stay with it. We don't give up, we stay committed to it. And in this case, it was a job that, even though, like I said, I liked it, and even though I eventually started making some decent money, even though I had a little bit of freedom at some point, I still stuck with it because we're taught to just not give up, right? And then more importantly, we're afraid of what people were gonna say. So I was afraid that people would say, man, you had this great job, you got this good job, you got benefits, you got this, you got that. Why are you gonna give up this good job here? What are you gonna do if you give it up? And I had just had my first child too. I had just had my oldest daughter, Maya. So that really added to the mix. But I knew at that point, because I had her, I really had to give it up. I had to quit, because if I didn't do it at that time, then I would probably still be at that job 15, 20 years later. Still having conflicted emotions, right? And still not truly reaching my potential, which was to start a business, which was to be able to have even more freedom, to be able to have even more freedom of time, freedom of finances, and to be able to do things that I truly, truly enjoy doing, right? And most importantly, man, look at this. That's a beautiful view right there, right? Most importantly, the thing that really, really, really bothered me the most about working there was having to ask for a day off. Like, I fucking hated asking even though it wasn't a problem getting a day off, I just hated being a man and having to ask for a day off, having to ask another person for a day off. Like at 20, 22 years old, that really, really pissed me off. And actually, that was one of the points there that got to me. You know, I ended up getting sick one time, and I just felt like I had a boss there. Her name was Jerry Press. I hope she's watching this, because I owe her a big part of my life. Like, she drove me so nuts working at Walgreens Pharmacy that she really pushed me to the point where I said, you know what? I'm done with this job. I left on good terms, didn't let her know how I felt, but I put my resignation in. And ironically, I did that maybe about 3 or 4 times over a 3-year period. They kept asking me to come back. take a picture of my wife here. I'm taking a picture while I'm recording. Badass. Boom. Let me get one of full body. So it took me about 2 or 3 years to quit this job. It took me about 2 or 3 years to quit this job because every time I told them that I'm gonna quit, they kept asking me to come back on. Man, could you give me 6 more months? Could you give us, a couple more months? And because I didn't really want to leave, I was uncertain and I didn't know what I was gonna do. Right? Didn't have any money, just had a new kid. I said, of course, let me do it. It was my way of sticking around. I finally got the courage to do it. Quit, best thing that I ever did in my life. Now look at me, I'm able to travel the world. We're in Venice, Italy, right? I started several different businesses. And although I love working, I love putting in the time, I love staying productive, I love staying busy, it allows me to do the things that I want to do when I want to do them. And if I want to take a day off, I don't have to go and ask somebody for it, which was the thing that really got to me. So what's that one thing that you know you should do, but you've been putting off because you don't have the courage? Listen to your insides. Listen to your instinct. And go ahead and do it. I'm not telling you to quit your job, but if that's what you feel like you should do, go ahead and do it. Things always work out. That's my motto. Things will always work out. As long as you're alive, it's gonna work out. All right, that's it. Peace. If you get something out of this video, share it. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram. And I will see you. We're gonna have some lunch.